Hi Ben, this is Jim Gillis with Win My Vote, and thanks for getting back to me. And sorry I don't have my camera on right now, but I'm not in the office, and the background is probably more distracting than it would be helpful. But wanted to give you a quick little demo of Win My Vote and what it does, and how I'd love to work with you guys or partner with you guys in a sense. So quick background, Win My Vote was just something that myself and a couple of software developers created a couple of years ago just so we could keep track of our own ballot. So I was in San Francisco, and this is actually the ballot that we used for the National Student Parent Mock Election, which I'll get to in a second. But it is the San Francisco, California ballot. And as you scroll down, you can see it's a nice sized ballot with lots of candidates. But the big part about this is the state propositions and then the local measures. And there's just no way that a voter could keep track of all of these as well as all of the candidates with a piece of paper and pencil, or other sites out there, which I really couldn't hardly find anything else out there. Maybe League of Women Voters, and there was a couple of others, but none of them gave you what this one does. So when we built it, we then started sharing it with friends, and I talked with somebody at the National Student Parent Mock Election and said, hey, we can do the whole mock election online. So we ended up doing that. It was we actually first did the National Association of Student Council, which was about 1,100 kids at their annual convention in June of 2016, which was great. They all just whipped out their cell phones and their tablets and their Chromebooks. They watched videos of the candidates, they favorited, they commented, they endorsed, and it was great. So the way that it works is that voters are free, and they sign up with just an email address or social media account, and without putting any personal information in, just a zip code, we can create for them their own online interactive sample ballot for upcoming elections. So for example, I can click, if I've heard about Gary Johnson, but I don't know that much about him, I can click on his profile and I can hear directly from him.
I'm Gary Johnson, candidate for President of the United States, and I approve this message.
I'm Governor Gary Johnson.
I'm Governor Bill Weld.
I'm running for president.
I'm running with him.
As the governor of New Mexico, I vetoed wasteful spending 750 times, cut taxes 14 times, and left the state with new highways, bridges, schools.
And as you can see, this is sort of designed for YouTube, and then as the candidates start designing them for Win My Vote or editing them for Win My Vote, it'll become a more direct and personal message. I can also go down here and see where the candidate stands on specific issues. I can click through here and see the groups and organizations and individuals that have endorsed him. And just click through here and watch the endorsement.
Stockholders and friends of Overstock.com were pleased to hear that its founder, Patrick Byrne, is back in charge after a 4-month medical leave. And Patrick Byrne, what a pleasure to see you back in charge, Patrick. Thank you so much.
David, it's such a pleasure to be seen.
Great to
Thanks for having. It's good to see you again.
All right, let's talk about politics, because you are very interested in the political scene in America, and we've got 4 people running for president right now. Of course, all the focus is just on the top 2. Do you have a horse in the race at all?
Yes, I think there's only one choice. That's Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson,
the Libertarian candidate.
The Libertarian candidate, but that. You're a Milton Friedman fan. I'm a Milton Friedman fan. It's.
And then with that, if the voter decides, I'm going to favorite this candidate right away, they can favorite them here. And when they go back to their ballot, you can see his nameplate's turned green. He's moved into that first position, which makes it easy for me to see it on my cell phone or a tablet. And then it also gives the percentage of favorites here that the candidate has on this site. Which is great for a voter if they really want to get into it and they want to start endorsing and kind of campaigning for that candidate. They can kind of watch that, but it's also great for the candidate. So the candidate, since the candidate builds their own profile, they can really control the message that's going out. They can reach out to their constituents. They can say, sign up for Win My Vote, check out my profile. If you like it, favorite me, et cetera, and then they can sort of see that that they can kind of track how well they're doing. And again, we provide information about, you sent out X amount of emails, this is how many people signed up, this is how many people watched your video on your profile, this is how many people favorited you, etc. So it's a way for a candidate to save a lot of money with polling and doing that other type of stuff that's not very accurate, and again, it's very expensive. But one of the most important things about Win My Vote is, as a voter, I can now move on to the other races. Now, presidential race, yeah, I'm going to remember who I'm going to vote for. But as you go down ballot, as you go into races like school board, this is going to be harder for me to manage and track. Even the state assembly and state senate races, especially in the primaries, can get a little bit confusing. You can hear about a candidate, you can really like the message that he's sending, but then 3-4 weeks go by and you find yourself at the polling place and you don't really recognize what his name was, and you end up just going with the incumbent. And I know that that's the voting pattern of a lot of people that we're obviously trying to break. So this way, if I vote for, if I decide Jane Kim is going to be the candidate of choice for state senate, I get an email the day before the election's coming up that says, hey, election's tomorrow, here's your ballot, here's a link to your ballot, your favorites. I can click over here and find my polling place. I just type my address in there and get a nice Google map, turn by turn, even hours of operation of the polling place. Here I can add this to my calendar so I can get my own reminders in my own calendar. I can reference important dates leading up to the election, like when and where early voting starts. And this is great for candidates to campaign to, because they can send out an email saying, early voting starts tomorrow, here are the locations, here's your ballot, here's my profile, go vote. And voters can also check on their voter registration status. So it's really a place where voters, can kind of call their home place for voting. And then as far as ballots, I can look into the future. And again, this site, we're in the middle of updating the site and having pretty much a whole new looking site, which I'll give you a peek at in 1 minute. That will have, it's much different. This was mainly from the National Student Parent Mock Election, and we had some constraints on what we could do because it was, through schools and that type of stuff. But to give you a quick preview of that, of the new site. So this is what it looks like. And sorry about, I know that this is probably a really distracting way of looking at it, but the screen capture software won't let me adjust the frame down to this to these slides. So apologies for that. But the profile will look a little bit different. And then when the user clicks on the candidate profile, they'll be it's arranged a little bit differently as well. And then they'll be able to go through and they can see endorsements, they can go see about us and issue statements, and kind of go through the different issue statements, and then back to endorsements, and then they can pick groups and organizations and individuals that this candidate is promoting. And this is where sort of the Justice Democrats come in. One is, we'd love to have all of your candidates create a candidate profile, and I can work with them to upload content and to even use the same piece of content on all of their profiles. And we can talk about that in detail later. But then also featuring endorsements for each one of the candidates and structure around that. And then again, would love to talk with you from a technical side about how we get the reporting and how many hits and all that. So the idea of the site is that the candidates use this as sort of their Facebook page or their Twitter account, but it's much, much more robust. They don't have to be they don't have to be sold on you right away in order to stay on this site. So if, in other words, if a Justice Democrat comes to me and says, here, go to my Facebook page or go to my Twitter account or go to my website, I'll say, yep, I know you guys are the no corporate money. Okay, I'll get around to it or whatever. But there's no reason for me to then go looking for you and finding your Facebook page or your Twitter account, or even as the election gets closer to start doing that legwork that we know voters don't do. This way, once I get on Win My Vote, I can see all the candidates and all the races, compare them all side by side, and I say, great. I sign up for it. I look at the candidates. I may be really interested in a school board race, not so much the congressional race. But, you know, as I'm getting ready to vote, as I'm preparing to vote, I'll use the site. I'll go up. I'll look at the congressional race. I'll give each one of the candidate a couple of minutes, and, you know, there you are, and I'll give you, you know, a listen to. So that's the idea of it. On the other side, when it comes to groups and organizations and individuals that are endorsing, we call those trusted sources. And on that one, we're hoping for the same thing, for that groups and organizations to you know, go out, make their endorsements on their ballot, and then share those with all their members. And I'll show you real quickly what that is. So this is the most current you know, form of the Trusted Sources page, which is really basic. Again, it's very much like a Facebook page or a Twitter account. It's totally free. They just go up there and you can see they just click on edit, and then they can cut and paste either an image or text or video. And it's real simple to build here. This is where their endorsements would be, and the endorsement for Hillary Clinton has been, you know, taken off of YouTube, so it's no longer available. This is what it will look like, and again, sorry about this, you know, this framing of this PowerPoint, how it works. This is what the new page will look like, and then the user here will be able to, you know, scroll through it, scroll down, see the About Us. They can look on, you know, on the issues, and there'll be some specific issues here that they can read through and they can look at. Let's see, we have you know, for the record, you don't have to worry about that. But this right here is where they'll click on endorsements, and as a voter, this will be my ballot, and I'll be able to see all the candidates that this group or organization have endorsed, you know, on my ballot. And if there's a video involved, oops, sorry about that, I'm so used to this thing being in the presentation mode. I'll be able to click on it and see that video, and if there's a written one, it'll be right below that, you know, and then I can click on, yep, I want to favorite this candidate, and then it will be favorited on my ballot. And do I want to do the whole thing and just click this star and sort of do straight party ticket or straight trusted sources ticket? You know, I can do that. And then, you know, I can also start looking through other ballots that this group or organization, you know, has filled out or endorsed. So the group or organization, or, you know, for example, with the Justice Democrats, you guys can go through every ballot in the country and then just quickly click on stars and create written and video endorsements for any one of the candidates, and then, you know, voters in all of those cities, counties, states will be able to see those, you know, real simply. So would love to talk with you guys about you know, our timeline, which will be in the next I think couple of months. We are going to be doing the National Student Parent Mock Election and the National Student Vote. Again, we're going to do it early in October. We'd love to see, you know, every candidate on there, and our hopes are you know, that we reach out to, you know, teachers and teachers unions, you know, and have as many participants as possible, and then also set a trend throughout the month of October, you know, of the student vote, you know, and hopefully it goes in the right direction. But, you know, we're more about that later. Anyway, would love to talk with you, and thanks for listening. Sorry about the length of this video. It was supposed to be 3 or 4 minutes. But I can't seem to be doing anything these days in that time frame. Thanks. Bye.